Hello, and welcome back to Jack Knives Reviews. I am, of course, your host, Jack Knives. So many of you may or may not know I'm a huge fan of true crime. Now, I don't want to make any weird assumptions and make you think that I'm one of those weird kind of middle-aged women who pop open a bottle of Pinot Grigio and put on whatever thing is currently running on HLN. I mean, it'd be weird if, someone just drinks a random wine glass and watches true crime. Excuse me a minute. What? It's Calpico. Anyway, I personally enjoy true crime, but one thing that is very interesting and delicate to touch is true crime biopics. Biopics in themselves are very hit and miss. You can have some very good ones, or you can have some terrible ones. So for the first time, I'm going to have a theme month. That is going to be True Crime Month. I'm going to be looking at 4 separate miniseries based off of real crimes, compare and contrast real quick, and give my overall thoughts on. So let's start with the very first one. The Girl from Plainville is the Hulu original miniseries based on the actual case involving Conrad Roy III, who killed himself due to his girlfriend Michelle Carter texting him, and the landmark legal case of her involvement being considered assisted suicide or murder, and the level of guilt in which her actions played in the case. Wow, this one just... holy crap, this blew me out of the park with expectations of how a biopic can be done involving a true crime case. I remember this case very well because I remember it happening on TV and I was paying close attention to it because as a person who deals with mental health themselves, I felt it kind of deepening myself with what was going on with Conrad and his inner turmoil of suicidal thoughts and just the level of lengths that Michelle Carter would go to push him over the ledge. It sickened me, but it was also a matter of I kind of understood why. But as far as the miniseries goes itself, what makes it so fantastic is the cast. Ellie Fanning is amazing as Michelle Carter. You could tell she studied everything about her. Like, she got it down. The look, the angle, the way she talked, the way her mannerisms were, the way she acted, all of these things, you could tell she studied Michelle Carter. And if you had told me she probably talked to her personally, I would have believed it because she got her down exactly. And the rest of the cast is just as good. I really thought it was just blew my mind how well this was made. There was also something that it did that was so unique I've never really seen done in a biopic. You see, with Conrad and Michelle's real-life relationship, even though it had this deeper love connection, the majority of their time, they never interacted face-to-face. But in the miniseries, their texts, conversations, were acted between them as if they were together, one-on-one, which is how they probably felt, but weren't like that in real life. So the way they did that in the fictional setting of the miniseries was so well done. And I wish more things that did biopics would do that. I don't necessarily think some can pull it off, but this one blew it out of the park. But this is as close as you can get to a true crime adaptation. The only major downside is that while it is extremely enjoyable and I personally liked it, it does drag a lot. That has mostly to do with the fact that it is 8 episodes long, which is kind of pushing it for the average viewer of a miniseries, but it doesn't really hinder it. If you're going in, you're going to go in regardless. So it doesn't really take away anything. And if anything, it is a series that I would recommend maybe splitting into parts. So maybe watch the first 4 episodes, stop, and then watch the second half later. I also recommend before or after watching this miniseries, watching the documentary called I Love You, Now Die. It's a 2-part documentary, both about an hour each, that's available on HBO Max that tells the true story of what happened with this case, with the first half being from Conrad's family's perspective and the other half being from Michelle's family's perspective. and it does it really well. I give The Girl from Plainville my highest rating of 5 out of 5. Have you seen The Girl from Plainville? Let me know in the comments down below. Keep enjoying True Crime Month here on Jackknives Reviews.